Kia ora, Helen Brown here, coming live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1465, Random Thoughts. It's as simple as that. I have spent the day writing, literally all day, almost all day. Almost all day? No, I did have a break. A friend of mine was talking about tax liens, tax deeds, and redeemable. Hang on, that was my notes. Here somewhere on my table. Let's see, we talked about tax liens, tax deeds, redeemable tax and redeemable deeds. It was very interesting because I didn't know much about the tax lien market. Now I know a little more. Enough to be dangerous? Probably. Enough to get in trouble? Absolutely. But it was a fun thing to do on a Saturday, just to sit and listen. And it was, in a way, I actually understood it. I didn't have to go, what does that mean? What does that mean? I understood. I totally got it. I wrote out my notes. But I have basically spent almost the rest of the day writing my book. It is coming along very, very well. And I thought, random thoughts. What could I talk about Dan? I said, oh, random thoughts. That sounds really good. And I'm like, what random thoughts could I talk about? I have no clue. So I did something different that I've only done like once or twice before. As I got on ChatGPT and I literally typed the prompt I put was fun, casual, random thoughts. Here's what it came up with. If you could physically see music, what would your favorite song look like? I thought, what would my favorite song look like? What is my favorite song? I have several. This could be interesting. The second one it said is a hot dog technically a sandwich? It does fit the technical definition of having a filling between two pieces of bread. And some of you are going to try and say it's on a roll. It's in a hot dog bun. It's in a bun. And I'm like thinking, yeah, but if you're in New Zealand, we take a piece of bread and wrap it around the hot dog, and that's our hot dog with a piece of bread. And you can put two pieces of bread there if you wanted to. But I thought that was kind of cool. No. What would cats think of humans obsessed with cats videos? This one cracked me up only because I have been watching cat and dog videos. And I have a friend and we send each other funny. Oh, which reminds me, she sent me a funny video today and I haven't watched it yet. We've been sending, because I've basically turned everything off so I could write today. Although I did have an hour-long conversation with another friend, and we got caught up on what was happening in her world as well. So that was really cool. But I thought, cat and human, cat videos and dog videos. Those are the two of my favorite. When anyone involving animals, I've been watching. And so I've got a friend and her and I send back videos with each other backwards and forwards all the time. And there's a lot of cat videos in there, a lot of dog videos, just a lot of animal videos in general, kid videos, humans who we wonder if they actually have a brain in their head. So those sorts of things. But what would cats think of? What would you think, Zeffie, of people obsessed with dog videos? She doesn't want to know. Now, I like this one. Why is pizza typically round but packed in square boxes and then eaten in triangles? Yeah. Why is pizza typically round but packed in square boxes then eaten in triangles? That's a really good question. Do you ever wonder if your dog named you just like you named them, what would they call you? Oh my gosh, that's a funny one. I like that one. Zeffie, what would you call me? Oh, they'd have to think about that one for a while. I should probably say crazy woman. How many pictures do you think exist that you have how many pictures of you do you think exist that you have no idea about? Just random backgrounds of strangers' photos. That's interesting. That is very interesting. It's always interesting looking at photos and seeing, what can you see in the background. When I'm looking at photographs, I'm not just looking at, especially if they're of a scene of, a crowd of people, what can you see in the crowd? I've seen too many videos there's been some videos running around lately where they show you a photograph and they zero in on something going on in the background. And it's sort of like, yeah, you really got to make sure that everything in the background is kind of appropriate to be shown. Do you think that in the future there will be archaeologists who specialize in digital spaces, like they will excavate old websites and databases? That's kind of a scary thought, but how could they excavate old websites if they no longer exist? Maybe they still exist somewhere in the ether out there. Imagine if we could download dreams and then watch them later like movies. Some of my dreams, I would agree to that. Other ones are just too dang weird that I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what the heck was that? There have been some movies that are just so weird that I have had. I've woken up and my brain's sort of like, what the heck just went on, happened there? And I know dreams are supposed to be things like thoughts that we've had throughout the day, things that have happened that are rearranging themselves. Sometimes they get mixed up. Yeah. But some of them just come out really, really weird. If languages were colors, what color would your favorite language be? That's a good one. Purple. Hey, that's a really good thought. If languages were, what was that question again? If languages were colors, what color would your favorite language be? Purple. What is my favorite language? English, I guess, because I speak it the most. Although there are some languages that when you listen to the way that they are printed, when somebody's going off on another language, and you're hearing them talk in that there's just this beautiful melody that seems to go with it. And so some of those would be interested in putting colors with those. What if trees are actually... What the hell's that word? I don't know what that word is. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. What would happen if you could untoast toast? What would happen if you could untoast toast? You'd have very thin bread left. Okay, no, I don't really do that. One thing when I butter toast and stuff, like I'll and then I put jam on it, cheese on it, whatever. I then, when I go, instead of wiping the knife on the edge of the toast, I actually push it into the bread and use it as the center to like make a pocket in there where the knife gets wiped. I don't know if that's untoasting toast, but you never know. How different would the world be if humans had a lifespan of 200 years? Now, that is an interesting question, because then my question to clarify that question is, does that mean the aging process also slows down? So what does that mean, that our toddler years, our infant years, our childhood years, and teenage years, do they get extended as well? Or does our body age as normal and we become these old wrinkly people that live for another, 130 years or something? I don't know. So that question will go back with a question of, if we could live to be 200, how fast does our body age? Does that mean parents are stuck with, a 30-year-old teenager? Oh my goodness. What if we could read each other's minds, but only when other people agree to it? No, not happening. Nope. My brain's messed up enough. I don't need other people's thoughts in there. If there's always a new latest technology, will there ever truly be a latest one? That is a good question. If there's always the new latest oh yes, this has the latest technology. Yeah, commercials like that all around. Will there truly ever be a latest one? If you could teleport, but only once, where would you go and how would you get back? If you could teleport, but only once, where would you go and how would you get back? Well, that would depend on where I'm going. Do I want to come back? What if animals could talk, but they all had really strong regional accents? What if animals could talk, but they all had really strong regional accents? Oh my gosh. I would hate to think what Zeffie's thinking half the time. Have you ever wondered what a mirror looks like when there is no one in the room? Well, I did ask for fun, casual, random thoughts. Gee, and the chat and the AI delivered. It's like if a tree falls in the forest, doesn't make any noise if there's no one to hear it. If the universe is ever expanding, what is it expanding into? Yeah, that is an ever-expanding universe. Okay, so what are we expanding into? Totally agree with that one. That's a good question. If we can feel the wind but can't see it, what other things might be happening around us that we just can't perceive? If we can feel the wind but can't see it, what other things might be happening around us that we just can't perceive? That's an interesting thought. Might have to think about that when I'm outside. The trees are moving, so when we take Zephyr for a walk, we'll probably have a breeze. So let's see what else we can't conceive. Perceive, not conceive. What if you could see the air like we see water in the ocean? Would it make the world look very crowded? Could see the air like we see water in the ocean. Would it make the world look very crowded? Oh, yes, I think it would. And then I asked for more, and it said, absolutely, here are more intriguing and whimsical thoughts. Imagine if time could be packaged and sold like a commodity. How much would an extra hour of time cost? Wow. Now that's how do you put a price on time? You always, when you're, that's a really cool question. Imagine if time could be packaged and sold like a commodity. How much would an extra hour of time cost? Wow. That would be interesting to think about, because how do you put a price on time? It's like, if you're a business owner and you charge by the hour, are you charging the correct hourly rate for you? Are you taking into account all the expenses that come out of that hourly cost? Like your office supplies, your internet connection, your electricity, all the expenses that come off that hourly rate, how much are you actually left with? And you'd be surprised. There was an online class I did. When did I do that? It was back when Brad was alive, because it was a real eye-opener for me. So it was back probably around 2014, 15, 16, somewhere in there. And I did this online class, and they gave us a spread in the online class and came with a spreadsheet. And you put in there it was designed for travel agents. It was meant to help future-proof the travel professionals. And you put in there what you would charge for to plan somebody's vacation. So you'd put in there the planning fee. And then it would tell you, these are all the expenses that you have to take out, and this is your hourly rate at the end. And my hourly rate was like 27 cents an hour. By the time you take out all the expenses, it was 27 cents an hour. And I was just like, actually, no, it was on the commission, because people don't like charging fees. Some travel agents / professionals do not like charging fees. Well, the professionals do, but the agents don't. They just work for the commission that the cruise lines or the tour companies pay them. So it said, put in your, take the last commission that you earned, put it into this table, and now subtract all of these. And what are you left with? And I remember being left with 27 cents per hour, because you also had to calculate in there how many hours you had spent on this particular vacation that you earned. You earned X number of dollars for the vacation, commission for the vacation that you planned for this family or whoever. Then you had to put in how many hours did you spend working on it. Then you had to subtract all of your expenses, and it came up at the bottom that I was earning 27 cents an hour. My time is worth way more than 27 cents an hour. And that was a huge kick in the pants for me. And I called Brad and I remember calling Brad into the room, and I says, have a look at this. I said, and he goes, what? And I said, so this is, and I told him about, he knew I was doing this class. And I said, this is what I just learned on this course. And he goes, what did you learn? And I said, I earn 27 cents an hour. He goes, what? And he didn't believe me. So I took him through the spreadsheet that was there. And I says, look, I put in all the stuff that, it asked me for all the expenses, what it costs for this, that, and there it all is. And he looked at it and he went, oh, you're worth way more than 27 cents an hour. I said, I know. And And it finally kicked in for me some stuff that I had been told by my coaches and mentors that I needed to start charging fees. And I was like, no, I don't get it. Don't, no, 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 no. And I fought it for so long until I did that exercise with that spreadsheet that showed me I was on that particular commission. It was 27 cents an hour that I earned. And I thought, oh, and that's not even, and that didn't even take into account a group. That was just a family of 4. I earned 27 cents an hour. And I was like, oh, well, I wonder how much I earned on this group. And so I put in the commission I earned from a group and went through the same calculations and everything else. And it came out that I had earned minus $2. I was basically, and I was like, but that one exercise was a huge wake up call for me on the value of time. I'm doing all of that work, and there was a lot of work that went into that, and groups are a lot of work, but they're a lot of fun to do, and I love doing groups. Well, this one particular group cruise I did, and I earned minus $2 an hour. I didn't make any money on that one at all. I lost. And I was like, wow. And that was a huge, huge open-minded call for me. And okay, some things have to change. So yeah, the value of time. The value of time. How much would, if you could buy an extra hour of time, what would it cost? After doing that exercise, that would be very expensive. Let's see what other questions they have on here. How would our perception of the world change if we had an extra color receptor in our eyes like some birds do? Ooh, an extra color receptor? Ooh, I would imagine we would get really bright, vivid colors, and we'd be able to see some colors that we may not see right now on the spectrum that we have. That would be really cool because I love color, and to be able to look out at a beautiful scene of nature and to see the depth of the colors and everything else. I wonder if we'd see deeper colors, different shades of colors. That would be really cool to find out. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that one? Have you ever thought about the fact that you're the oldest you've ever been, but also the youngest you will ever be again? I actually thought about that one time. I thought, I am current right here in this moment. I am the oldest I have ever been, but I'm also the youngest I will ever be again. Yeah. Think about that one for a minute. If animals could communicate with humans, would they form their own nations and have diplomatic relationships with us? Oh my gosh, if animals could communicate with humans, would they form their own nations and have diplomatic relationships with us? Oh, that's just getting too sci-fi for me. And the next question says, do you think aliens have their own version of sci-fi where they imagine creatures like humans? You know, that one there, though, do the aliens have their own version of a sci-fi where they imagine creatures like humans? Go back to like Men in Black, the very first Men in Black movie. And right at the end, when the cat has the galaxy, when they take you out, they've got the galaxy, and it's that little ball that's on a cat's collar. It's just a little tag thing that's on the cat's collar, and there's a whole galaxy in there. And they've got this random box full of galaxies. And I'm just like thinking, what if we actually are in one of those little galaxy things? You know, our entire universe is in that little ball that hangs around a cat's neck. But then is their universe the same way? Are we just balls inside balls inside balls inside balls? You never know. But that one at the end of Men in Black, it always makes me think, are we actually a galaxy inside of a galaxy? And are we just as our galaxy, even though to us it seems absolutely ginormous and ever ending, is it actually just contained in a little ball that hangs on a cat's collar? Well, that would be interesting. If humans could hibernate like bears, would we have evolved to have a completely different society and routine? I don't even know how long do bears hibernate for. They hibernate for the winter. So there's a set number of months. I think it would definitely have an impact on society and routine, because everything had to be completed by a certain date so you could go and hibernate, and then you would hope that everything would be okay again, because there'd probably still be some people that wouldn't actually hibernate. Like there's some animals that don't hibernate. If every action has an equal and opposite reaction, does every thought have an equal and opposite thought? Yes. I'm going to say yes to that question, because the universe works in checks and balances. If you want something here, you have to give something away in order to attract what you want. If you want to attract positive thoughts, you have to release the negative thoughts. So there's that give and take. So yes, on that one, I'm going to say yes. Do you agree? Do you disagree? The question again was, if every action has an equal and opposite reaction, does every thought have an equal and opposite thought? Yes, I think so. Because if you are thinking about a dream you want to obtain, but in order to obtain, and as people always talk about, and you hear people talking about this all the time, in order to obtain your dream, you have to be willing to give up something. So it's you're keeping in balance, you're keeping the universe in balance with your positive and negative thoughts. So you want more positive thoughts, you got to release the negative ones. Just checks and balances. So yes, I agree with that one. What if sleep is our natural state and we only wake up to gather information for our dreams? Oh, jeepers. Okay, what if sleep is our natural state and we only wake up to gather information for our dreams? Or there are some dreams that I wouldn't wake up, that are just too good that I just want to keep going, and then the alarm clock interrupts you. Yes. Yeah. That would be interesting. That would be an interest. These questions would make great discussions around a get together with people. If we could interact with our past selves, would we get along? And some things I think yes. And in some things I just want to kick my own butt. Is your red the same as my red, or do we all perceive colors differently but call them by the same names because that's how we've been taught? Is your red the same as my red, or do we all perceive colors differently but call them by the same names because that's how we've been taught? Now that is a very interesting question. Yes. It's like I had a discussion one time with somebody between the difference between lavender and lilac. I was like, yeah, and at the end of the conversation, I was so confused. I had this dress, I called it lavender, and somebody says, no, that's lilac. I'm like, no, it's lavender. Yeah, I said, it's my dress, it's lavender. No, it's lilac. And then they went into the differences between lilac and lavender. And by the time the thing was done, I was like, agreeing with them just to shut them up. But those are some of the random thoughts that I asked GPT for, fun, casual, random thoughts. And that's what those are some of the questions that they came up with. So what are some random thoughts that you've had? Put them into the comments below. It's been a great day. I still got some writing to do so I can get my day 5 assignment completed on day 4. So I'm on day 4 of the challenge, but I'm already on to day 5's challenges. Yeah, on day 1 I completed 1 and 2. Day 3 I completed day 4, and today is day 4, and I want to complete day 5. So I still have, how many words do I still have to go? I still have a few words to go, but once I get into the list, it's going to go really quick. And I've got a couple of stories that I'm going to be throwing in there. But then it's been taking me a while, because this is why I write with pen and paper, and I didn't do it, and I'm kicking myself for not doing it this time. I just typed it in, because one, when I'm typing, my thoughts get interrupted because it underlines the errors, and you got to go back and do that. And then there's been personal stories I've been putting in there, and I've been putting them into a box and shading that box so you know that it's a personal story. So you can either read the story or you can skip the story, just to give examples on things that I'm talking about. And I've still got one more story I think it is to put in there. Might be one or two more stories that I have to go in there. And when they go in there, they'll bump the numbers up, and they'll definitely get the stuff finished tonight. And then I have a list that I'm going to put in there as well, that I've come up, a list I sat down and typed in the other day on day 2. It was day 3's assignment that I did on day 2, because we had to do the book outline. And so I just started listing random things to do for this particular book, and things that I've talked about in the past to do for this book and everything else. And so it's just sort of like, oh, this is kind of fun. How many pages am I up to on this thing too? Where am I up? I don't even know what page I'm on. Oh, I'm on page 7. Huh. Guess I got to do something with spacing or something like that. But and then I stopped to go and find photographs to go in there that I had taken. I stopped in some places to put a QR code in there, so they could go see something else. I've been, all over the place. But when I've been writing, I have been writing. So it's been a lot of fun writing this today. And but I did find out something interesting today, because it's one of the stories I put in the book is about the time that we went to the California Science Center in May of 2014 to see the Space Shuttle Endeavour. And so I put the story in there about that, and I thought, oh, let me go and put the site in there, so if they want to go and see that, there's a QR code that they can scan and it will take them to the right page. Well, when I went to the page, I found out that, so this is, if you ever want to see the Space Shuttle Endeavour before the exhibit is actually closing on December 31st of 2023. So in 147 days, I think it was, and hours and minutes it had in there. But it's been removed from public display so that they can start assembling it where it is going to finally be in the position, and it's going to be upright. So they're going to take it from down here to upright, and they're going to have it's going to be in the position like it's ready to take off, because it's going to have the 2 white fuel tanks. It's going to have the big orange tank in there. They've got the booster engines on there, and they're stacking it and putting each piece into place. And then the last piece to go in place is the actual shuttle itself, where they will lift it into place in a crane. And they're talking about that this is the first time that it would have been done outside of NASA. And I'm like thinking, man, that's going to be, and then by the sounds of it, they're actually going to finish building the building around it. And they said it's going to take several years. And then reading down further, this is like the final part of there's like a 30-year renovation going on, or building going, 30-year plan going on. And this is part of that 30-year plan. So how long is it going to take once they get the shuttle in position and get it all put in place and firmly fixed in place and all of that, and then they finish building the building around that? How long is that going to take? They said years. It's going to be several years before they open back up again, when they finish this the Air and Space Center that's currently under construction. And I'm sort of like, man, I'm so glad we got to see it in 2014. So that was very interesting to learn today, that they're actually going to be closing it. And because when we were at the exhibit, when we were at the shuttle there and looking all around and everything, they actually had a model set up of what the final exhibit is going to look like. And it's basically going to be like the shuttle's going to be there like it's on a launch pad, like it's ready to take off. And there'll be different levels that you can go up to see inside and see around it and all of that sort of thing. And there's going to be a lot more exhibits about the shuttle program and all of that sort of thing. And I was just like, this looks really, really cool. I wonder how long it's going to take. But nothing on the model back in 2014 gave us a final date. So you're coming up on the exhibit being in place for almost 10 years. Actually probably over 10 years, because I'm trying to remember when they actually went there. I think it was 2013 or so. The shuttle's been on display for 10 years. They're now going to be removing it from the public viewing for a number of years while they finish building the rest of the Air and Space Center around it, once they get it all in place and all firmly fixed in place, so it looks like the shuttle is on the launch pad ready to take off, or ready to blast off. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I didn't know that that's what they were going to be doing. So that was an interesting thing that I learned today when I was working on the book and the stuff that's coming in the book. But yes, so I have to go and finish writing it today so I can proof it tomorrow. I'm trying to get it published by tomorrow night. That's my goal, get it published by tomorrow night. But I still have till Tuesday. Tuesday's day 7. So I know there's another. I still got to go watch day 5's video, but day 5's video is to finish the writing, and then I've got to see what else I have to do for day 5. So I'm going to go do that, and then we'll go for our WALK with the DOG. So anyway, that's it from me for today. Hope you enjoyed those random thoughts. Would love to hear random thoughts from you, and what are some of your thoughts about some of the random questions that ChatGPT came up with? Just for something different today, just for something completely different. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hei konera.